I don't know, it just, it kind of happened when we started to make Two Lone Swordsman albums that had live instruments, more live instruments on them. For some reason I started to listen to more kind of rock and roll again. It's, you know, I never stopped listening to it, it's the first music I was into, but when we were making Double Gone Chapel, because we were using live instruments, I just thought I better listen to more rock and roll, music with live instruments rather than electronic music, and it kind of built from there. The more I went back to my roots, the more I realised that's where I wanted to be, Yeah, it's not totally minimal as people think. Everyone thinks that all the clubs in Germany are just all minimal, but they're not. Yeah, that sounds spread around the world, but in Germany they're always kind of very forward-looking, so they don't stick in one place for too long. But I think it's really healthy. There's some really good records being made, adventurous. There's some really good electronic house being made at the moment. Because they're both forms of music. They're both forms of dance music that sound like they come from another planet. To me, they both sound mysterious and strange, and like they come from outer space. Yeah, there's lots of use of delay and echo and kind of strange sounds that fill up the gaps. It's both quite minimal music, like a lot of rockabilly is just drums, a bass, and maybe a guitar and a vocal. It is very minimal, very simple music, and the same with a lot of house music. Yeah, they use it's not only rhythmically is it similar, and the space is similar. They're both exploring delay and reverb and effects, and I think that's what makes them both sound like they come from another planet. They sound quite ghostly, Oh yeah, no, it's always the way. If you go on a journey somewhere, if you visit another country, and then you come back, you just take parts of that country to influence you. You don't adopt every custom, and that's what it feels like I've done. I've kind of gone on a long journey, and I've come back, and I've got lots of kind of souvenirs and memories, and I put them into what I do now. Because they've probably heard me and think, well, if he can do it, anybody can do it. But that's the whole point. That's why I did it. It's just because I did it because I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it. Just to kind of do something scary, and that's the whole point. It's just like you can, it's quite that's what punk was about. I grew up with punk, and it was just about like anyone can do it. That was the whole point. That's why bands, they went to see the Sex Pistols and thought, hey, we can do this. So I'm not liking myself to the Sex Pistols, but I'm just saying that's the kind of attitude I have in me that just says, well, why can't I do it? And so maybe, I doubt if they have heard, I don't even know whether Harvey's heard my record with me singing on it. But yeah, you get to a certain point in your life, and if you've been making music for a while, you just start thinking, well, what the hell? I can't, why can't I do it? Just go for it. And I think that's probably, they just happen to have the same kind of idea as I did, Yeah, I don't know. I think what's happened is people have, when techno and electronic music first started, people liked the fact that it was quite clinical and quite cold sometimes. But I think now we've got to the point where people want something a little bit more personal, which is a two-way conversation. And that's why I think a lot of electronic music has started adding vocals and analog instruments, just to make it a little bit more of a two-way conversation with the listener. Because lots of electronic music, it's great, but it's just, there's not much communication. Usually because it's made by one person on their own, it's very solitary. But I think electronic music now, people, even if they're listening to electronic music, want to feel like someone's talking to them a little bit more,